Renovating your home is obviously quite a big project, and I'd imagine there's quite a few things that can go wrong along the way. What are some of the most common issues that people face when they're renovating their home?
I think the biggest issue, firstly, is that people start the idea of renovating with rose-tinted glasses, if you like. What they can see is what the project will look like at the end, you know, the end of the renovation. But the pathway there can be a treacherous one. So there's lots of pitfalls along the way, and I guess my job as a renovation project manager is to take the stress off a client when they're looking to renovate. But most people don't have access to somebody like me in their renovation, so when they're doing it themselves, they really don't know what sort of issues they're going to come up against. And I can honestly tell you that that has to be the biggest stressor in any situation. It's a stress for your relationship. It's definitely, and you know, it can impact on the outcome of the renovation itself. So I think having a realistic idea, talking to a lot of people, understanding what issues they're likely to uncover, and really starting to make a plan around that, so plan for solutions, and maybe taking the emotion out of it as much as they possibly can, because that's a real, you know, that in itself can be a real issue. You need to retain some confidence and I guess almost an impartial, you know, personality when you're talking to your trades. You need to take a step back and not let the cracks show, if you like.
It's a really interesting point about emotion, because it's the same, I guess, in business, and making such an investment is you have to think about it in a business way. Is that why perhaps we need to rethink getting family and friends involved in the project because of that level of emotion?
Absolutely, and particularly when it comes to family and friends. I think renovating is an emotional experience anyway, no matter how much you might want to tackle it from a business point of view. At the end of the day, people will always, you know, revert back to their emotional side, because it's impacting, it's their home. And I think the biggest something that we come across a lot is people wanting to employ the services of family and friends who know, you know, they might be an electrician or they might have been a carpenter back in the day, and they're going to do it for a cheap rate. That's an absolute disaster waiting to happen, if you ask me. So my advice at every turn there would be, don't. Pay a little more and get a qualified tradesperson to do it that you can actually manage, because it can really cause a massive rift in relationships, and you don't want that.
Absolutely, and but for example, if that isn't an option, sometimes that's the case, what are some strategies on how you can perhaps prevent, whether it's a relationship with an existing friend in the renovation project, or your marriage or your partnership, is there any strategies that you have to sort of help ease that little bit of conflict if it does arise?
Yeah, look, I think I tell clients all the time, make a plan for peace. And that's my terminology. I don't know what it actually needs to entail, but sometimes it just means that you've got to be able to get away from it. And whether that means for you and your circumstances pitching a tent in the backyard overnight, or whether it's a weekend away at a 5-star hotel, or whether you have to move out for the duration, your whole focus needs to be on not letting those cracks show. You need to look after one another. Your major partnership, that needs to stay intact, because that's far more important than any renovation will ever be. But also, as far as your trades are concerned, they can't see you cracking under the pressure either. They need to be inspired by you, managed by you, and led by you. And that's really important. So make a plan for that in the beginning, because you'll forget it as you're going through.